Welcome to Season 2 of the Shekina Meditation Podcast, created by community members and friends of Shekina Garden in Pai, Thailand. Shekina communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode show notes and other information at shekina.com. Hi friends, this is Ray, and it is Season 2, Episode 88 of the podcast. As always, our patrons, you are supporting the podcast, and you're also supporting a lot of what we do at the garden. So because we have this big garden with this free space for travelers and spiritual seekers to come to all of our practices, that means we have costs to running our space, and we also have things that we give away, things that we offer. We're hoping to keep that space free and of use to everyone who comes along and is a seeker and who would like to experience meditation with us. Your patronage is part of the way we do that, and you can find us at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast, and you can support us there. We're also offering a postcard to everyone who signs up this month, so hop along to that site and join us there. Another way that you can support us is by rating or reviewing us on iTunes or on Spotify, or you can share in another way, like on Instagram or Facebook. You can share by liking or subscribing on YouTube, which always helps, or you can share with your friends and families. And when you support the podcast, we know that you appreciate us putting out into the world. So thank you so much for that care, that appreciation, the fact that you're with us. We're in this little corner of the world and you are here with us. Thank you so much. Today's episode is a nature meditation with Ro. Nature meditation is really fun. And if you haven't done one yet, what you need to start out is a little piece of nature. Either it could be something you can hold in your hand, something that you go outside and grab and bring with you if you're not outside already, or maybe something you can think about, like the wind or the sun or a mountain, something that you can really spend some time contemplating. There'll be a point in the meditation when Ro suggests that everybody get something, and that's when it can be time for you to do that. Or you can come prepared if you like, pause it right now, up to you. Ro will offer some exercises, first of all, to get you into a space where you're a little bit more ready to help prepare you for meditation, and then guide you through with lots of questions about your piece of nature. So they'll just be gentle questions to guide you into contemplation about God and about this piece of nature that you have with you. And third, we recommend that you spend some time processing your meditation. So that could be with a journal or with a voice recorder if you're by yourself. If you're with others, it's one of the most beautiful practices just to sit and listen to one another, listen to what everyone has to say about their meditation. We have found that it helps us to really know one another, and it helps us to process the meditation and bring it into the rest of our day. So let's begin.
To begin, let's just find a comfortable position that we can hold for a little while. Letting our spine be nice and long. And relaxing our shoulders. Settling into a comfortable, natural breath. The meditation today is a contemplation on nature, contemplation on nature meditation. We'll have 3 parts. To begin with, we'll ready our bodies and minds, coming to a place of stillness and quiet. For the second part, I'm going to invite us to stand up and move around in the garden, perhaps find something that we can pick up with our hands, an item from nature, or something that we can see in the distance, a mountain or a tree, or perhaps something invisible. And that will be our item, a piece of nature that we'll spend some time meditating on with a series of questions. And then our third movement is our talking circle. So as we begin, we're just focusing on our breath. Letting our eyes close down. Letting our jaw be loose. Our shoulders relaxed. And noticing the natural rhythm of our breath. Noticing the parts of our body that move as we breathe. Nothing to do or achieve in this moment, just breathing and noticing. Letting our attention move from just our breath now to other sensations in the body. Perhaps the feeling of air moving on the skin, sensation of cool or warmth where your clothes are, parts of the body touching other parts. The feeling of gravity, noticing where we're connected to the mat. And moving from sensations in the body to sounds outside of the body. We're surrounded by a whole world of sound here, made by creatures and humans, machines. Let's let our attention move gently from sound to sound, just noticing each one and moving on to the next. We might like to try to find the farthest sound, sending our imagination out, see what could be making that farthest sound that we can notice. And then we might like to try to find the closest sound. Let's begin to turn our attention now inward to what's happening in our thoughts. Thoughts can be ideas, emotions, memories, plans, all different sorts of things, big things or small things. We're just going to notice what's happening in our minds, trying our best not to judge, being kind to ourselves, but just noticing what's happening in the mind. You might like to imagine that your thoughts are clouds. You're looking up into the sky and clouds are passing by into your field of vision and then out again. You can notice them as they pass by, the color, the texture, and the size. You can notice what thoughts or feelings or ideas are coming into the mind. And then you can notice them passing again. In fact, we're going to purposefully let them pass by. Noticing and then letting them go, floating past. You might even like to link this to your breath. As you exhale, you're blowing the clouds away. It's your choice to let them pass out of view. Let's spend another minute or so noticing what's happening in the mind, what's coming into our field of vision. You might notice the same thoughts returning. That's perfectly fine. But we're going to let them pass cloud by cloud until all that is above us is a clear sky. In a moment, I'm going to invite us to find our element of nature that we're going to meditate on today. There's no wrong way to do this. Just go with something that sparks your interest, or it might just be the first thing you see. We can go out into the garden to do this. And we'll begin again when everyone is seated back in the sala with their item. So I invite us now to go and find our element of nature. I invite you now into a time of childlike exploration of the element of nature that you've chosen with all your senses. Whatever is possible or reasonable. Looking and touching, listening, smelling, tasting, if that's safe. Exploring as if you've never noticed this item or element before. I'm going to ask a series of questions for us to meditate on. You might like to keep your eyes open during some of this time or close them. Continue to explore your element or go inward. Up to you. And as we meditate, we invite the Spirit of the Divine, the Spirit of God, to play with us and guide us, inspire us as we meditate, as we notice, as we ask questions and look for answers. So our first question is, how are this element of nature and I connected? How do we connect? How are this element of nature and I connected? How do we connect? Our next question is, how are we the same or very similar? How are we the same or very similar to our element of nature? How are we different or not the same? How are we different from our element of nature? How is this object connected to God? How is this element of nature we've chosen connected to God? How is the object or element of nature the same as God or very similar? How is it the same as God or very similar? And how is this element of nature different to God? How are they not the same? How is the element of nature different to God? I'm going to invite us to slowly bring our attention back to the here and now. Back from our time of exploring and play to an awareness of the others seated in the circle with us. To an awareness again of our breath. We might like to take a few deeper breaths here as we end this movement of the meditation. When we're ready, we can move on to our third and final movement. We know we're ready when we're seated with our eyes open. Let's take our time coming to this position.
Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation available each week, so don't forget to subscribe to iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinacommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Also, you can rate or review on iTunes or sign up as a patron at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast. Have a beautiful week. Many blessings to you.